joke, but it left me as soon as I started talking.
Right. And we're live. Thank you guys for coming today. And I received a message from Jocelyn saying that she's going to come too soon, and we have another who just joined us. And welcome, Destiny. Our destiny has arrived, the divine destiny. Let's see, actually, is it working now? Destiny, can you hear me? Can you speak? Because she was in a moment ago before we went online, but her internet was sort of for those who are watching now.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, cool. Still a little, the internet's still a little iffy, but if you have better luck, you could turn off your video and that might work better. But happy to have you here. Cool. So, what are we talking about today? Did you guys see the ninth wave information? We posted it on the top of SpiritSide Central on Facebook. But there's a Mayan calendar expert who is kind of basically been describing some very interesting things. He's basically saying, like, all of the 2012 stuff, you know, it was, I mean, there's the significance to it wasn't much more than the significance that we applied to it. And that as cycles continue to cycle, there's another cycle that's coming to sort of a, you know, beginning and end right now, death and rebirth, which is called the ninth wave. And it's sort of the activation of one of our highest levels of consciousness that we can actually tap into and connect with. That is just like, as of yesterday, sort of actively moving through us or becoming available. Sort of like, you know, in like spirit science, we talked about the Christ consciousness grid and how it wasn't really used in the past, but it's available for people to like really jump into and tap into. It's the same sort of thing with this. Like, oh, I can hear myself now. Really, I'm not sure what that is.
I think it's
cool.
Destiny.
Yeah, it looks like something Destiny was like, maybe her microphone or something. Like a video on YouTube or something. But either way, it's very interesting. And if anybody wants to learn about it, for anybody watching this, I actually put a link in the YouTube comments, off the comments of the YouTube thing. But there's also, yeah, if you also go check out Spirit Science Central. It's a link to the Mind Unleashed, and it's a very interesting article, actually. I spent a long time meditating on it yesterday and last night, and it just kind of links up really well, you know, with this new moon and sort of the rebirth energy and the everything that's new that's coming through.
Well, you said something that really made me. I didn't want to interrupt because that was really good information. But you were talking about the 2012 stuff, and it only had the significance that we put on it. And I had this little thought fly through my head where I was like, but if we live in a subjective reality, isn't the significance of everything what we put on it, to a certain extent, at least?
Yep.
So what if in 2012, or pre-2012, we as a race were at this vibrational frequency range, and something happened, the significance we placed on it gave ourselves permission to raise up to where this ninth wave is like the new next cycle that fits our current vibrations.
I definitely resonate with that. There was actually, it was really funny. I don't remember if this was discussed in the video with Drumvalo on the SpiritSide chat, but I remember talking with him about this. And he was saying, you know, like normally by this point, you know, in a normal flow of like cycles coming and ending or whatever, we would have been already, like we wouldn't be here anymore. We would be in a different state, a different reality, everything like that. And I thought it was really interesting because he was saying, like, but like there's a new cycle that we're just becoming aware of, like every, however many million years, 76 something million years. Also, hey Ocean, welcome. There's like a curve in the or a wiggle in the harmonic flows of the universe or whatever, and basically that's allowing us to exist sort of like in this transitory phase between where we are and where we're going in a different way that anybody had expected, like the Mayans and the prophets and stuff like that. Anybody had expected, like, sorry, I'm just, Divine, I'm gonna just lower your audio for a minute or mute you, but please unmute yourself the moment that you want to talk, okay? Just, we can hear ourselves, or I can hear myself in the background, and I have to stop it. But anyway, yeah, it was interesting because I had two thoughts about this, like I love the idea of like kind of, I mean, we're always discovering more and more things, but it's also like anytime that things don't go the way that we plan, we can come up with some explanation of like why it didn't work and almost give ourselves, exactly, because consciousness steers reality. So just as you said, like give, our belief in the 2012 phenomenon allowed us to be like, oh, we can like transition and start shifting, and like people use that as an opportunity to like, I'm going to start meditating more, I'm going to start, and that's what caused the shift. And so it's like now that we're in a new state, it's like, oh, there's a new cycle, oh, take my meditations even deeper, and that'll we'll just keep compounding on top of it. Because I don't have any, I mean, Drumvilla has a lot of information and he's got some very amazing connections, but I didn't see the like, I just have his word to go on. So I always like to still like apply the scientific method and test and like look at all of the theories and everything before just saying like, oh, that's the way it is. But, based on what he was saying, like, it's very interesting, the idea of this like, we're just, no, it's a new cycle. It's okay. Okay, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, inside of ourselves, radiating outward, and take it further and further each time. And also welcome Jocelyn. Good to have you. And Divine, I'm sorry, we're still having this audio thing. I'm not sure what's going on though, because you have headphones. But I hope we can get it to work.
Well, Trisha had that problem 2 calls ago or so, where there was something with the connection with her headphones. So she pulled that out and she was fine straight off the laptop.
Okay, well, that might work too, Divine, if you can hear us. But either way.
Yeah. I love the whole idea of we give ourselves permission to reach our next stage. It fits in line with my favorite book on spirituality, which is actually a fiction book by Richard Bach. It's called Illusions: The Adventures of the Messiah. I saw that you've done the people in the stream, and I love that parable so much. So that I've showed that to probably 50 people at minimum by now because it's awesome. But I love that whole idea that the only thing stopping us from progressing at any point along those cycles is our belief in which one we're writing right now. It seems fun. And I think that all points connect. So a lot of times we'll be using the sacred geometry and we'll see connecting patterns because they're where we're at. They match us vibrationally. But those same patterns can fit and connect in whole different ways based on where we're riding that consciousness wave.
I'd like to actually, Jocelyn, you were the one who originally showed me the 9th wave stuff. This is actually what we were talking about originally. And I would love to invite you as well to just kind of jump in if you have any thoughts on that topic.
Yeah, I'm in a really interesting state right now because I've been feeling this stuff incredibly. I mean, for the past 2 nights, I've been so accelerated. I think I've had a combination of 6 hours of sleep. Like every single time that I close my eyes, it's like this fractalized, I've never experienced anything like it. And I don't know if this is like the placebo effect where I knew that it was coming. So then it was like inviting that vibration into my field. But basically, I mean, I don't know how much you explained because I wasn't here for how you explained it, Jordan. But in Mayan astrology, basically they explain how. So each segment of the calendar explains a different type of wave form that's being presented. And basically this ninth wave that is even more potent than December 21st, 2012 is an even higher, like it's a higher frequency and a more frequency of change. So you see the intervals of day and night, which is like yin and yang, oscillate at a much like higher frequency and much more rapid state. So we're able to enter different levels and states of consciousness at a very accelerated pace and at more accessibility than any other time in history. So like according to this, and the reason why that is because we're getting closer and closer to the frequencies of different dimensional states, I would say, like because as we go higher and higher up the octave scale, if you would compare it to the chakras, the lower fields are going to be the more dense realm, which is like the physical realm, and the higher that you get, the more elevated and more ethereal or like thought-based, unseen, like etheric realm that you're going to be able to access. So it's like this consciousness is being lifted from just the physical plane to the etheric, like on a unified consciousness level. So it was interesting because you see the last day of night before we switched into day, which was the 24th, was the attack in Manchester. So we went into extreme night polarization where we had the collective terrorism that was happening, like a display of terrorism that spiked. And then, and then we go straight into day, and we'll probably see, if you follow the Mayan calendar at all or want to start following it, when the day starts coming, sorry, Kane's in here with me, then you will start seeing, you will start seeing, you, my friend, then we'll start seeing some sort of like positive, I need to wipe your face. We'll start seeing some sort of positive, what do you call that? Representation. Excuse me. Yes, you want to be on here too? Okay. Well, we can say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But that would be my explanation for it. My dreams have been like really crazy. They're like all fractals with like super emotionally dense.
Serious echo of the lines.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think it was, sorry, say that again, Joshua. It was echoes
It's
coming
happening.
from. I was all right, actually. I didn't hear any that time. But maybe just.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think it's good.
So what did I say? So we'll probably see a positive representation of that at the peak of day. Which, if you want to follow that, then then that would be the way that you would get more in tune with that. But my dreams with these waves that are coming through, Oh, Kane wants to tell you about the waves. Wow, 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 wow. That's what he feels like. Yesterday, whenever I woke up from my dream, Kane must have felt me really intensely because you woke up too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had to watch Finding Dory because we were so awake together. Were you feeling the waves?
Ah,
Yeah?
ah.
Ah! Anyway, but yes. So that's what's going on.
Thank you for all of that, first of all, because that was very informative and very, actually, I'm happy that you brought that up too, that like there's just like, that you said your energy had been very strange, or you've noticed some strangeness in the last little bit, because, and this is kind of new for me, because like my birthday was on the 19th, and since then I had like this stream of just really just very uplifting change. But it was specifically last night. Like I got home after kind of a busy day out. I visited Aaron. We worked on some scripts for the new videos, and did some yoga. And then when I got back home, like I was really tired. I went to bed. I like took a nap, and I was up. Actually, I woke up close to midnight, and I was up almost all night, mostly meditating. And it was just, there was a very strange feeling. Like I couldn't, like, just moving through my awareness. I actually had the compulsion of not doing this call today, and just asking like Aaron to kind of cover for me. But now it's interesting that like in the end I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like be here and be present. And then Aaron's not here. So there's definitely something going on, like between the new moon and the ninth wave and these changes that you're describing. Like, I know I'm feeling it, and I don't know exactly what it all means, but at least for me specifically. But I really like your description and like the ability to experience acceleration of, like, that's very present.
Yeah, I keep having these dreams that are like, I almost didn't come on the call as well because, like I said, I've had a combined amount of sleep of like 6 hours because I've had all this information like surging through me. And for example, the dream last night, whenever I first went to sleep, I went to sleep at 12, and I was feeling so much energy. And then my dream was like this crazy rainbow kaleidoscope fractal that kept like folding in on itself. And all of my emotions were like inside of these fractals. Like every spectrum of emotion I've ever felt within my lifetime was like folding into one another. It was the like most intense. It was like I was taking DMT. Like Spirit was asking me to harness some sort of new recognition of how to use my dreams. It was really interesting because then I could go into the fractal and then I could isolate an emotion. But anyway, I'm going way too personal now, but I just, yeah, density is definitely getting like, it's getting less dense in here.
Well, and what comes with the breaking up of density is like what you perceive as destruction, right? Like it's got to destabilize in order to rise up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so definitely my physical environment in many different ways is like, what would you call it? Like just crumbling, it's just in the best way, so it's getting crazy.
I can definitely attest to that.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of make, I guess I don't know how to say it, make myself available, for anybody on the call, because we've got Ocean here, Joshua, Destiny. I don't know what's happening with your internet, but Daniel as well, you're muted, but I want to invite everybody else too to like come and like share and talk and discuss if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about in specific. We're all here for each other, really. So what's on everyone's minds in that capacity?
Just barely, really quiet.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Who are you having trouble hearing?
Divine.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
A little better. A little better.
Okay.
Yes, but there's still a really intense echo, and I don't know what's causing that. Or because you do have headphones, but it's very strange.
So it's better with the headphones?
You're not echoing for me.
Okay.
I hear myself double and I hear Jordan double sometimes. But
Now I'm getting the echo too.
Yeah. Maybe try taking out the headphones.
Yeah, that's hearable.
What did she say?
It's not hearable, maybe.
Oh, it's not hearable?
It's interesting because we're in the new moon in Gemini right now, and we're having communication issues.
I was laughing about it. Thank you for bringing it up. And you kept saying "ride the waves" earlier, and every time he would go into that, it would just echo out, and I was sitting here just trying not to bust out laughing. It was so cute.
Is it better with the headphones or without?
Let's see. I can hear myself both ways, so it doesn't really make a difference. I guess whatever's best for you. And if you can mute yourself when you're not talking and unmute when you are talking, that can solve that problem.
Okay, so the thing on the bottom that has the microphone, that's the mute button?
Yep.
That's the one?
Okay. Okay. And you and I have actually the same birthday.
I saw your post about that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I went to the ATIH workshop on my birthday, the first time that I went.
That sounds awesome. How was that?
That was pretty awesome. I went up to Pennsylvania with Ron Searchy, and that was like a lot of love there. Like a lot of love. I left with like tears in my eyes. But I still need to get down pat the meditation so I can get into my heart. Did you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I was waiting to hear if there was anything more. But I mean I hear you. I guess that's the basis of it, right? Is awakening the illuminated heart and being fully in your heart. And I know that's the thing that like we're all working towards, striving for, is embodying that in every moment. So kudos and way to go on like taking those steps and doing that. That sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
I love meditation. I'm not sure about the process or practice you guys are talking about, but it's been dear to my heart since I was 12.
That's awesome. You've been meditating since you've been 12?
Yeah, it was a way that the psychologist told me to help me get past my dad dying. Like my dad died on Christmas Day when I was 12, and I went and saw a psychologist for a couple weeks, and one of the things that he talked to me about was meditation. And I was a big reader at that point already, so I just went to the local library and I devoured everything on the subject. I love Alan Watts thanks to that. And from there, I've just been studying ever since, honestly.
That's brilliant. I wish I had been doing that since I was so young. I remember my sorry, Destiny. Did you unmute? Did you want to say something?
Well, I started listening to your stuff at like when I was 13 and in 2014, like right before I turned 14, I started listening to your stuff. So that's when I really got into it with the spirit science. So
Wow, cool.
I was 13.
I wish I had that information when I was 13. I actually went through a phase. It was very short, but it was like apparently my mom has always been very spiritual and very like interested in stuff, and like she had the Flower of Life books all my life, but like never really shared them with me. But she would like, and she was like, well, he needs to find his own path, kind of stuff, and like wouldn't really like talk about anything like that with me. And so, you know, I was kind of raised in the normal sense of being unaware of openness to discussion of anything, sort of thing. But my mom would always be like, you know, I'd go to school and I'd be miserable because like everyone would be bullying each other, really, and like, and she'd be like, well, just like think positive thoughts and you'll have a great day. And I'm like, shut up, mom, you know, like that's not even like, don't even talk to me about, you know, like, and I'm like, this is me at like 13 or 14. And then like, you know, I'm later on when I'm 19, I meet some people, start learning about crystals and like The Secret and thoughts and stuff. And then my mom gives me the Flower of Life book and I'm like, you've been holding out on me all this time. She's like, you weren't open to it. I'm like, you didn't even try. Like, you just said think positive, and I'm supposed to get that. So it was funny. But I'm really happy though that like through not just my work, but like the work of kind of what's available and the work of all of the giants, the shoulders of giants we're standing on that can like make the information available to people, you know, at a younger age. The fact that you learned about it when you were 13, 14, and like Joshua, when you were like meditating when you were 12. I mean, first, what you went through had to have been really difficult. And like, I think then like that you found meditation as the support for that and didn't turn to, you know, something like alcohol and cigarettes and something that might keep your energy down, but like you found something that can like raise you up in understanding and clarity. It's like it's just really healthy. It's like a really healing thing, and I think it's a really good example for other people who are going through the same thing.
I mean, I still fell on my 20s like everyone else, and I partied. I used meditation to come back to center, but I also had sleep apnea and bradypnea, and it was undiagnosed. And so it caused chronic depression for most of my life. And I actually used hyperbaric oxygen treatment to heal the damage in the core of my brain that kept causing the lack of breathing, which would keep my blood oxygen really low, keep me depressed, make me fatigued all the time, things like that. And so meditation was really the only way that I could maintain enough strength to get up and go through my day some days.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Yeah. I think I mentioned this like last time too, is just a sort of the same experience of if I'm having like any sort of thing that's kind of going on and I'm like not motivated to work or whatever, like one of the best, if spirit can move my ego hard enough, because sometimes my ego is stubborn and doesn't want to do anything, but if I can get myself to do it, if I can go and meditate for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, it creates an instant shift, an instant change, and it makes just going through life, going through the day at the very least, like so much more enjoyable, which is really cool.
I agree.
Mm.
It took me a long time to see that it was that beneficial. I thought it just kept me from wanting to like beat people to death and things like that. But it did, and in hindsight, I can see how much it helped me. Yeah. Especially, like I said, I hadn't really made the association to the chronic depression and chronic fatigue from the sleep apnea. I didn't realize until I was talking to you just now that most likely the meditation is what helped me get through that, because in all reality, when you're tired and depressed the first thing when you wake up every day, it's really difficult to get motivated or to do anything. So the only choice you have is exercising willpower at that point. And had I not started learning that so early, I probably wouldn't have been ready for it when the fatigue kicked in and the depression ramped up.
Hmm.
So that's a neat awareness. Thank you.
Hmm.
How's everybody else doing? Ocean, it's nice to see you. Let's get it off of me for a minute.
Yeah, nice to see you too, man. I can tell something fun that happened today.
Oh, please do. We love stories.
Yeah, today was the first time I flew. Paragliding. When you have like a parachute, but you start from the ground and you lift with the wind.
I want to hear
tried
more.
do it once in college, but I was like 300 pounds then, so I could not get lift. But it seems really cool.
Yeah, it was. I gained some altitude.
Wow. That must have been amazing.
Icarus. No, I'm just kidding. Wow, like that's amazing. And then again, the theme of Gemini, you know, harnessing the wind or the air element. Like you're like, you know, whipping out your avatar style, like little glider thing and, you know, bending the elements.
Yeah.
And one fun fact is that today is like Christi in Sweden. I don't know if it's the same. It should be like the day Jesus went to heaven. When
Today
he
is
left.
Ascension.
Oh, is it?
I remember looking at that on the calendar a while back, and that's so interesting. I completely forgot, but I think that's right. I think today is Ascension, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the day that like Jesus left Earth and went ascending.
Wow.
And
Okay,
in Sweden we call
very
it
awesome.
like Christus sky travel. Like he leaves and takes off to the sky. And I did the same thing today, so it was a nice coincidence.
Wow. Oh, it's more than a coincidence, my friend.
Oh, yes,
Everything's
yes.
connected.
Yeah. I don't really know how to wrap my thoughts around this, but just like the new moon and the ninth wave and Ascension and like,
Oh, that
whoa.
Schumann resonance that you posted, Jocelyn. That spike. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that was crazy. We've hit 100 again. It's so consistent at this point. It's just getting so intense for me. But yeah, it definitely, there was a massive spike last night in Schumann's resonance. I wish I could share. Can I do that? Hold on. Yes, I can. Hold on. I will share my screen with you, and I will bring up the photos so that people can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these waves. I'll just bring it up here. Yeah, so at this time, it's really important. I feel like this is the first portal gateway before we get into more of the it's going to be really interesting. Because, hold on, I'll just share my screen with you. Entire screen. Everyone sees themselves. It's like my dream, the fractal. It's endless. Okay. So I don't know if you guys see this, but this was yesterday. So the more white that you see, the more cosmic waves are coming through the ionosphere and echoing into that space. So like we had surges preparing us for it, kind of like a heartbeat, you know? But then this is only probably in the 30. So this is when the attack happened. So you can see this is more of like a beta state, which is like that freaking out collectively. Like this is the state that you're in when you're in an anxiety attack, when you feel like you need to protect yourself against others. And then this over here is like transcendental meditation. Like this is like when your brain is using both hemispheres and you're a Shaolin monk able to like, you know, say, you know, whatever, like walk on coals and not feel it and not be affected kind of thing. How do I stop sharing this now? There we go. Stop sharing. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a big one. It was a huge wave.
Yeah, actually, it's really interesting too that it's like it's just an immediate like off on, you know, like it's not like, oh, something happened and people started meditating in it, but it was just like da, 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 boom.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the cosmic wave of, I mean, it can be two things, right? It can be a solar flare, or it can be some sort of cosmic radiation as we're like swinging through one part of the universe or galaxy. Sorry. We get a hit from this stuff, and it hits, the outside of the Earth, and then echoes in the ionosphere, and then we experience that through brainwave activity, or like to say it less fancy, like in our personal experience. So it's really interesting to watch this stuff correlate with these, like you guys were saying, like that it's ascension today. It's also a new moon. It's also a Mayan glyph that's pretty specific. And it's cool to see that the indigenous that sensed this stuff literally for hundreds, if not thousands of years, they were sensing this activity. And I've been talking to Heart Math Institute to kind of get straight about this stuff. And they said that from what they can see, it hasn't been like the steady earth beat hasn't been accelerating. But these spikes in like specific times and days are definitely happening, like definitely. And so it's how we're utilizing that information. Like the new moon in Gemini is all about internally, and it's a super moon too, so it's going to amplify our emotions and thoughts even more. How are you utilizing your internal realm? Like, what are you doing with your thoughts and your emotions, and how are you using that to create this physical manifestation? Because the veil is going to get really thin, and we're going to start seeing things in our physical environment, portraying themselves extremely fast, like these soul lessons and things like that. But I've already, talked about that kind of stuff. But it's more, this is like, it's kind of like Mercury retrograde on acid. Like, so it's like, it takes you to this kind of internal state where you can see an elevated view of all of the lessons that continually come into your life and what the purpose of that is if you utilize it. So it's that unity consciousness, right? It's this push. The ninth wave is all about collective evolution. It's all about, raising us to be able to see, from that, like you were soaring above in the sky, from an elevated perspective, to be able to clear the differences, which would be the challenges or the separation from unity or love consciousness, which is in the heart, So it's a good day. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You have a different couch, Jordan.
Well, actually, this is last week I was, or 2 weeks ago, I was on behind that couch.
Oh, okay.
And like now I'm on this side of the room.
Okay.
But yeah, this is just like my I'm just sitting on the floor in my parents' house. The next time that we do a call, I'll have probably a different backdrop entirely, because we're moving into the first actual legitimate spirit house.
Yay!
Which is like the basis of creation station of the whole purpose, and like everyone who's living there, it's like we're just making everything happen, or like making spirit science, making all the like the new website and the videos and the tarot cards and tarot series and like all of that, and like yeah, it's very exciting. We're like really thrilled about it. So like I'm just working hard for the next like 5 days, and then we'll go through like a bit of moving process, and then hopefully after that it'll just be like that steady stream of new videos that we had going like a month ago. Hopefully will come back, and we'll just like knock it out of the park. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
Couch conversation. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. So I guess just on that topic, like of just general updates of what we're working on and stuff, you know, it's like sort of a similar conversation as it has been before. Like we're just kind of getting a lot of finishing touches on the website, and we've actually decided to expand a whole like tarot section of the site too, to go with the deck, which is now like, you know, 100% done. But the tarot booklet has been sort of we're still working on the book to go along with it. But the deck itself like is like a complete thing. Like I could, if I had the resources to like order a bunch of physical decks, like I would, but we don't have that yet. We're gonna work on that. Yeah, so it's like I've been trying to balance between, you know, working on like the new videos and then the tarot book, and I'm having a little bit of like not struggle, but just like finding that balance has been sort of like I'm sort of pulled in both directions, and I'm not really knowing which one to do. And we're also doing like a special episode of Spirit Science, which the working title of it is Spirit Science Zero, but we're not sure if we're actually going to call it that. But it's basically going to be like sort of announcing and describing the new website and kind of the new structure of the website, because we've like realigned, and I think Aaron has talked about this before too, but like we've realigned and organized all the Spirit Science videos. So like on YouTube, we'll keep the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of list, but on the site, we'll have it sort of structured via sacred geometry and the light spectrum and the chakra spectrum and stuff like that, to give people like a new way to explore and experience Spirit Science. So there's just like, there's so many different ingredients in the works, you know? And since my birthday too, there's been so many personal changes in like within my own consciousness and like how I'm living my life and how I'm growing in my understanding of some of the things that I've been through and stuff like that. So it's definitely been like a balance. Like I haven't got I got the cards done, right? But I haven't got as much done on top of that as I've been wanting to, but at the same time, it's also been kind of coming through my awareness of like one of the best things that I can do for all of the content and everything that I want to make is make sure that like my energy is vibing as high and solid and good and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing and going through. And yeah, I'm thrilled because everything's gonna Aaron described it as like, you know, we've been building up this wave, and the wave, like the top of the wave is just starting to like, you know, roll over, I guess. I don't know the word. What it's starting to crest, yeah. And like, so it's gonna become a tidal wave soon, but it's just at that transition point, which all, you know, it just synchronistically like lines up with all of with everything. What did Auspicious say? So yeah, updates.
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
It's so good, and it's so amazing to see the effort build up, you know? Like, I just admire, it's been amazing to see you, Jordan, like, shift so much, and then, like, see your consistency and dedication and, like, all of this, like, resurgence of new energy, like, come back in, and yeah, it's been amazing to like re-experience, because I think that all of us in some way, I can at least attest for myself, are feeling kind of a new wave of inspiration, new lessons, new, you know, a new theme, if you will, like a refreshing or cleansing kind of thing.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, yeah, like all of the opportunities that we had when we first, you know, like we hit that 2012 mark, and we're like, man, we're gonna make this like we're gonna make so much awesome stuff. We're gonna like change the world, do everything good, right? And like we all got ourselves into various life lessons worth of experience of and challenges that come along with it, and struggles and all sorts of stuff. At least speaking for myself, there was a lot of both positive healing stuff that happened, and a lot of struggles and a lot of challenges and a lot of things that weren't in alignment with the highest will of, at least within myself. And it's the last year has been the breakdown of that, and now it's the crystallization of something new, and new levels of confidence and courage and strength to overcome these challenges that that we had before. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I was tomorrow is my Saturn return. It's my birthday.
How old are you turning?
29.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't look a day over 24.
Oh, thank you. I've got really good cellular digestion. I'm just kidding. But, what was I gonna say? Oh man, I've been watching a lot of Jim Morrison stuff for some reason, because it's really like the doors of I for some reason, whenever I was a teenager, I really vibed with that kind of, that was the first introduction into a lot of people, it's Alan Watts, or like you were saying,
Or Janis Joplin.
yeah. I mean, but for me it was Jim. He was my entrance into everything that was the other realms. And I just keep hearing this ringing thing. I watched the movie the other night. Oh, hello. Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there?
I think that actually came from Lisa, who is one of our only people who hasn't said anything so far. Lisa, you wanna answer that call? Come and say hi. She's probably actually on the phone now, being like, "No, I can't."
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of really interesting things are happening. I don't know.
What's that quote where he's talking about where he got the name? He was talking about he got the name from Aldous Huxley's The Doors to Perception.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's why he called it The Doors. And he said something really cool then. Let me see if I can find it. Because that's kind of kicking in my head now.
I keep thinking, because today's, a new moon day. So it's a day that you set your seed of intention. And, I keep hearing, for some reason, when I woke up, I heard, is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin, and it's this weird kind of trippy experience that's happening. It's potency. So my question, I guess, for you guys is what's your intention for this time? What are you seeding? What are you wanting to see grow? That's kind of the place where we are, is what are you seeding in the ceremony of this time? Because this is when the indigenous, used to take whatever they wanted to see expand. And there's this field, of energy that's going on that's expanding our thoughts and emotions. So what's your intention for this time?
To cleanse the doors of perception. For me, I need to clear away the illusions that keep me from advancing. Personally, I know that I will think I've understood a thing, but I'm really looking at something that just feels like it's right, but it's not accurate or what I'm really trying to achieve. And so I'm working on getting a better connection or resonance with that emotional guidance system that we all have, so that I can tell when I'm wanting something to be true versus when it's true.
So amazing to do, like conceptual reality compared to actual physical, like what you actually want. So amazing, because most people are living in a conceptualized state of how something will be rather than like implementing that. So that's cool. And how are you experiencing that? So how is this like playing out in your life right now?
Okay, let's see. Thank you. I need to open up. Um,
I'll share some of mine too, so that you're not alone.
I'm a Scorpio, and so I never open up. And here we are on a live call, but that's a great reason to do it because it terrifies me.
Oh.
So,
Hard.
I think that when I'm going through my day to day, I'm seeing things that I used to use to serve as evidence for being not good enough or being unlovable or undesirable. And so throughout most of my life, I had that chronic depression as well. And so when you're depressed, you're constantly looking outwardly for symbols or signs or proof that you're really not good enough, that all these negative doubts in your head are accurate and true. And it, over time, can cause you to, almost like a Pavlovian response, see certain actions or behaviors in people and just assume where it's going to go and what it means and what it says about you. And I think the biggest key is that nothing anyone ever does or says has anything to do with you. It has everything to do with the struggles and issues, the anchors and pains in their own heart, and the trauma of their past. It really never has anything to do with you. So, for instance, when I had a guy who was yelling at me and calling me fat and stupid and other tasteless things, I had the opportunity to accept his judgment of me as being about me, or I could realize that something really bad must have happened, either in his day or in his life, to make him that negative and outwardly focusing it. Because all he's trying to do is share his pain so it lessens his own for a little while. And so that had nothing to do with me, even if he was trying to use my physical description to hook me in to how I felt about myself so he could drag me down a little bit. I didn't have to jump along his little hoops. I said, I'm sorry for whatever's causing you to act this way, but I'm happy with who and what I am, and I don't have to just do things because you want me to. I'm a free and independent human being, as are you, and you're free to leave. And he did. But I could have fought back, and that would have been an action of ego, not who I am and what I really want to be, what I want the world to be. So I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but it resonated, so I ran with it. That happened a couple of years ago. I was a attendant at a gas station, and he was very, very angry. And I brought that. I keep having similar situations where the problem that I feel like dealt with before, but it's trying to come in from new angles. And so I just had somebody yesterday at a gas station angry call me a fat stuff. And he was just mad because he wanted me to pull out of my car fast, and I didn't even realize he was waiting a spot. I was up my gas mileage. So it's just one of those where it doesn't matter how many times it peaks, it only matters how well I'm able to meet the crest of that wave and surf over it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I'm sure that so many people will be able to see themselves in your experience and then, overlay that and learn from that because, it's about those cycles, when someone is in pain and then they project that pain onto you and then you have a conscious choice whether you perpetuate that wave or whether you transform it with love. And I think that that's the hardest thing about being an alchemist, being aware is actually in the doing bit when it's real and when someone is being absolutely uncompassionate in front of you. That's when the real tests come in. So that's really beautiful. And then realizing that you have a choice to not be a victim, that you can be empowered and you can, you get to choose the narrative because you're a creator or a destroyer. You are a part of the divine essence of all things. So,
Jocelyn, that was perfect. I want to call attention to this. I have a friend who I was talking to just before the call started, and she's going through her own spiritual catharsis right now. And what you just said, Aurora Arsenic, if you're listening, which I know you are, that, so much that, just listen to it again. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like sending you huge like waves of love from my heart. And it is in this way, like this realm can be the most amazing, blissful heaven. And it can also be hell. And that's what's so interesting about the ability to create is this this conscious choice that we have all the time. Yeah, just thank you for being so real. I understand. It's one of the most beautiful things, I think, to share vulnerably and honestly and authentically. So, anybody else?
Please. The room is silent.
Yeah.
You touched my heart, man.
You guys, we have no idea the impact we have when we take an action, but Ocean, you were talking about the Beltane coming up, the last call we were on, and the bonfire, or was that the 2 calls ago? Either way, you were talking about that, and I was actually wrestling with the idea of whether I was going to do anything outward, physical, to really celebrate that time, because for the last few years, a lot of my personal celebration, spiritual celebration, has been internal only. I didn't take the time to do anything external because there was always something going on or problems or whatever. And so you touched me in that I got out and I set myself afire. And for a water element kid, let me tell you right now, building a campfire is a struggle, all right? But it worked, and it worked quite well. And I don't think it would have happened had you not got me down that train of thought.
Beautiful.
You guys are awesome. I don't know if you know that, but you are.
Oh, so cute. I love it.
I want to jump on that train a moment and just express gratitude too for all of the love and support that you guys bring into my life by being here, coming here, all the posts that you make, all the shared learnings that we all experience just by like communicating and talking together. It really is tremendously uplifting and very inspiring. Keeps me going. So thank you.
I'm absolutely buzzing right now throughout my whole body.
Did you say bursting or busting?
Buzzing. Bzz.
Buzzing. Got it. It's really good.
Yeah, the
What's
chi, life energy building.
What's your favorite spiritual activity that's both fun and you learn or grow from?
Me?
Yeah.
LSA seeds, Hawaiian baby woodrose.
I did that when I was 15. That was a very intense experience.
I actually missed, what did he say?
Hawaiian baby wood rose. It's lysergic acid. It's the precursor to LSD.
Oh, I see.
Your brain naturally produces it. It's the fun stuff.
Okay, sounds
Do
good.
that when you're 15. I do not recommend children do that at all.
I love
But
that.
my mom worked 2 jobs, so she had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah. For me, my I love doing going into the collective, and I love working in the meta, which is what I call it. And it's like where I take my heart field and I simulate or visualize someone else being there, and we have like a heart-to-heart soul conversation. I do this on a very regular basis just to check in with people. That's probably one of my favorite spiritual activities.
That's awesome. I was actually just introduced to that technique back by Jeffrey Allen, and he's an energy work specialist, and he mentioned that technique, and so I've only been using it myself for about 90 days, and it is really interesting how that works. I like it myself.
Lately, one of mine has been, we do a sound healing session every Sunday. So like Sunday afternoons, we actually go to a yoga studio down here in Winnipeg, and we like play crystal singing bowls for like an hour, and just like, it's like an open invitation, anybody can come, and we just like, pretty much everyone just lies down and goes into this like transcendental meditation, and then there's like 2 or 3 of us that like play the bowls for an hour. And it's always coming out, like, when people come out of it, they always experience, or they experience things like, you know, like either astral traveling or seeing colors, or being like just so much more in tune and feeling buzzing in different parts of their body, and like activating different centers and stuff like that. And we realized after it was probably like the 2nd week or something like that, some people came out of it, and they were like, I feel like I am like on LSD right now, or I'm tripping. Like I feel like it's unsafe for me to drive. And we were like, oh, we have to like really ground people really well at the end of these things. So we started introducing like at the in the last like 5 or 10 minutes, we actually have to be like, all right, everybody, now like really like start getting, you know, moving your fingers, getting back into your body, take lots of breathing, you know, come back. Because one of the first times we were playing the bowls, and then we stopped and we're like, all right, thank you everybody for coming. And that was like not a good idea. But it's yeah, that's one of my favorite things. It's like I've had such good experiences with sound bowls, and especially the alchemy bowls from Crystal Tones. There's such a high resonance above all the others. It's so worth it. It's so beautiful just to sit and listen to them. So
Someone should make like actual music with the crystal bowls and make actual sacred music.
there are actually people who do that, but you need. Oh, sorry, I have to move it. Yeah, we have 3 ourselves, and we have a 4th one that's coming in the hands of another friend who's moving to stay with us in the Spirit House. But when I was first, it was actually the day of it was 11/11 in 2011. So like November 11th. It was the first day that I actually ever tried LSD, but that was later on. But the morning of this event that I was at, we did this sound healing ceremony, and this guy had to have, I don't even know, probably like 20 crystal bowls. And it was amazing, the experience. That was like my first introduction to sound healing, and I was just sitting there meditating during this whole thing. But he played the most amazing music just by resonating different bowls, different times. He knew which ones went together well, which ones made different, vibrations, and it was absolutely just amazing. So like we have a little bit of a bowl fund happening now, being like, when we save up enough resources, we'll like continue to bring in more bowls and like continue to expand the sound healing practices, because it's really just an incredible experience.
I've had Native American shamans who used flutes tuned to 432 and 528 hertz, and that can be a really magical experience as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
I've
Sound
never-
in general is like the one of the makeups of everything. Like you got sound and you got light, and you can I kind of imagine those like as like light is electricity, sound is like magnetism, and then you've got the electromagnetic spectrum, which is basically sound and light interacting with each other to make up reality. Because like all of this, like when you look at the quantum physics and the particles of everything, like they're really like little particles of light that are like waving, and like those waves are sounds that you just can't, like you can't really hear. But it's like, I think that's why I have such a fascination with Dune, that book / movie. I forget the author. I'm reading it right now too. It's some of my best answers. Frank Herbert. Thank you. Yeah. Because they've got the like sound guns, and they're like this new technology that utilizes sound to, and they like that was one of the things that will help them save the day in the end. It's pretty cool. So yeah, sound. Oh, actually, also sound in the future. I think we're going to be flying with sound, and we're also like going to be able to put out fires with sound, because there's like that already exists. There's like a sound gun that like puts out fire. Like you can't hear it, but you point the gun at the fire and just go, and it just the fire just goes out with like a bass, like a boom, like bass sound.
Super low bass.
Yeah. So like, could you imagine if firefighters like no more giant trucks? They just like a little
a Ghostbusters car with batteries.
Yeah, they show up and they have like a little sound gun, and they're like, "Oh, this like giant building's on fire." All right, our work here is done.
That would be awesome. I saw
so awesome.
I saw levitation being used for microconstruction, precise microconstruction, where they use two speakers, one on top, one on bottom, and they'll suspend the organic material there in the center and be able to use probes and such to bring the small components in and then modulate the sound. Like I saw them using the sound, modulating the sound to screw a screw into a microscopic component, and I was like, that is freaking cool. And then I saw them doing some kind of chemical engineering with liquids, bringing tiny little droplets and together to create reactions. It was really interesting.
Really? Yeah. I remember seeing like the same sort of thing of like taking all kinds of different solid objects and like lifting them up and spinning them around just with like speakers all around it. So it's the same basic thing. It's like, it's just a matter of time before we can like hook that up onto like a car and like have that like send out a wave that would like disrupt the gravity field. I don't know if that's how it would work, but
I hope they have sonic screwdrivers before I die. That's all I'm hoping for. Just sonic screwdrivers. That would be super cool.
Yes, most definitely. That's like the most important tool, really. You can't get much more amazing than sonic screwdriver.
That would be too much fun. I would just be in trouble for playing with it all day. And I'm like, look, I can levitate this, or I can turn the volume up.
You actually, I'm just noticing too, you're shelving on the side there. You've got like all manner of like culture going on there, don't you?
Oh yes, it's I actually have a sonic screwdriver up here. Well, not a screwdriver. I have a sonic spork.
You'll have to hold it up a little closer. It's a little blurry. And now say something so that we can.
Can you hear me? Yeah, can you see it? I forgot that it's
Oh, wow.
a camera. But yeah.
Turn it the other way. Did you see a spork?
Yeah, it's a sonic spork.
Oh, the joys of technology. Bring all the fancy things.
Oh, cool.
So how does that work? A sonic spork?
I have no idea, but it came in a loot crate that someone got me, and I love it. It's too funny. I have no idea how you would reasonably use. I have no idea what I knocked off. I have way too many little statues and things. People get me little things. They're like, "Oh, Josh will love this," and it becomes a part of the homage to awesomeness.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's like your shelf of love then. Like
Yes.
all these like homages to your spirit.
Yes.
Cute.
We just had someone else join too, Miss Karen. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. She's unmuted, but we still can't hear her. How very peculiar.
1 second.
She's gonna fix it.
Yeah.
I think she's the same one from last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that went to the art school that had sacred geometry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love this girl. She's wonderful. As is everyone here. And everyone watching. And everyone who ever will watch.
Yeah. It is all connected. Like attracts like in the spiritual realm, so it would seem obvious that we're all awesome.
But we have the most potential for growth when there are the greatest polarities.
Do you get it working?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, doesn't seem like it.
Well, not really, but
To Karen. Karen, if you go up to the gear, like the settings at the top of Google, there might be a audio setting that says like your microphone is set to a different mic or not set. So you could like maybe set the mic to internal microphone or whatever. Potentially.
Oh, my question from earlier about the what's your favorite spiritual practice? Mine I got from my high priest when I was learning to become a Wiccan priest. Terry Michael Riley. He had this habit for he would pull us in to the Great Hall, and we would sit down and we would watch a random movie that he picked. And our job would be to come up with a spiritual lesson somewhere within that movie, and then talk about what we learned from that lesson or from that movie. Explain that lesson to everyone else when we finish the movie. So, you know, you got an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, and if there were 10 to 12 of us sitting around, you'd be going 3 or 4 hours, everybody explaining their message. But it made for a really fun game that would cause us to all talk about it, because here we all are watching the same movie, and more often than not, there wouldn't be more than 2 or 3 people who'd come up with the same thing. And even when they did, it would be completely different takes on the same thing. And so getting to see all those different perspectives made the experience that much more enriching. And so now, even if I don't have a large group of people, I'll go and find something that, you know, someone in the household is watching, and I'll just sit and watch it for a minute until I hear something that resonates, and then I'll meditate on that. And so that's my fun game.
Nice. I love it. I would want to be there.
We're going to have to do like a more formal gathering at some point too in the future, I think. Do like a everybody is invited sort of thing, come out and go camping or something like that.
I love camping.
Go do a big meditation out in the woods or something to that nature, you know. There's so many infinite possibilities. Maybe go swimming again.
Spirit sleepover.
Yeah! Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
We'll
Kieran.
find it out.
That's
Karen, I'm
it.
sorry we can't hear you, and we're approaching the end of our call. We'll have to jump on next time. Aaron and I were talking too, and we were thinking that like we might try and oscillate between sort of afternoons and evenings, or mornings and evenings sort of things for the call, like new moons, because this one's a new moon. This is in the morning. The next full moon, we'll do it in the evening, and then we'll go back and forth between them, so that we give everybody sort of an opportunity too, because there's a lot of people who are want to join in. Who are all over the world, and sometimes it works better for people, over there. It's the morning, sometimes it's the middle of the night, whatever. So yeah, everyone will stay tuned. We'll let you know when the next one will be. Like a week and a half or so. Yeah.
Nice.
So I guess if maybe in that vein of bringing things to a close, when we opened, we didn't actually do a meditation. So maybe we can do a little meditation. We've talked so much about meditation. Maybe we can do one just as we bring the talk to a close, and then thank you again for everybody for coming.
Nice.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's start, everybody, by just relaxing. You can keep your eyes open or close them if you prefer. And start by just taking a really deep breath. And as you breathe, bring to your awareness all the various things that we've discussed. The accumulation of all of the topics, the ninth wave, the earth changes, the new moon, the Schumann's resonance, the crescendoing of all that we have worked and strived towards, and bringing and grounding this beautiful crystallization of our highest selves into our bodies. And with that, remember your intention, that which you're setting by this new moon as you move forward on this day of ascension. Who are you becoming? Who do you want to be? Where are you going? Where are you driving your vessel, steering this ship? And how are we all steering it together? What practices are you bringing into your life and grounding as a daily practice? How are you sharing your love with the world and uplifting those around you selflessly and with harmonious intent? Now as you breathe in, you can say in your mind the mantra, I am receiving all that God has to give me. And as you breathe out, I give all that I am in his name / her name, the name of the one that is all of us. And now as we move forward into our day and end this call, take this meditation and this breath with you and forget it not, so that you can act with your highest self in every particular moment and any challenge or anything that you may face as the day comes forward. And happy early birthday to Jocelyn. Oh, thank you all for joining me today.
Namaste.
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 Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.